Hello, I'm Steffi from The Makers, one of the editors. Sophie's actually filming at the other end.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about core wool today because it's a much debated topic and we want to introduce our core wools. So if you watch carefully, you'll learn loads of stuff. We do actually sell a core wool sample pack, which looks like this, and you get 25 grams of our most popular and mostly used core wools, and I will talk through every single one. But we're going to zoom in a little bit because you don't want to look at my tired face for the duration. So let's start off with our Shetland wool. We'll absolutely love this one. You probably hear me say this all the time now. We absolutely love this one because we love them all, of course. The Shetland is a really nice white wool, as white as they come if you don't bleach it. So this is the natural color of the sheep. It makes a really fast, it makes a very fast and firm core. It has got shorter fibres and some longer fibres in there, which sometimes can stick out at the very end, and you might have to cut them off or pull them out. But rolling this core wool up really tight, of course, means that you don't have to stop the needle so much. So you can actually already squeeze the air out and then give it a little stab. Now, where did I put my needle? Ah, you've got it. Thank you. So stab the wool with the needle. Remember, the tighter you roll up your core wool, the less stabbing you've got to do because you've already squeezed lots of air out. What we love about this core wool is it makes a very firm core, but you can also use it on the inside and on the outside. And that topic, I should say that core wool only means core wool because we're putting it on the inside. It's not necessarily a specialist wool. Any wool can be core wool if you choose to put it on the inside. So we use it for birds because you can make the bird with that shape and then leave it exposed. And there's also a little robin here where we use this too, and you can still see a little bit of the white there. The next one is very similar to the Shetland. It's our Gotland, white Gotland, and the difference is that it's not quite as white, and it hasn't got the long fibers in there. So it's a really good wool still to use, and we love using that one too. Again, roll it up into a nice firm ball and stab the needle into it to make it stick or fasten it together. And the tighter you roll it, you might have to use a medium needle, but if it's nice and loose, then you can of course use a coarse needle to start with and work your way around. It shapes really well, and we like it for birds too because it is white enough to be exposed, and it hasn't got those long fibers in there, and it still makes a firm core, maybe not as firm as the Shetland, but it is a really good one to use too. So the next one is, I love that one. It's one of our definite favorites, and it's the Lanolin Rich Organic South German Merino. That's a bit of a mouthful. If you like smelling the wools, and definitely have a sniff on that one. It's clean, but it does smell of clean sheep, and it's a really nice smell. It separates really easily. It's got lovely long fibers. It has got vegetable matter in there, as you can probably see. So we tend not to use this on the outside. We tend to use it just on the inside. It makes a super fast core because it's very sticky, and it keeps your hands nice and soft because the lanolin is of course the natural sheep fat, so it moisturizes your hands as well. And to roll it up into a ball, do exactly what we did earlier with the Shetland. Roll it up and then give it a few stabs. Because it's literally like Velcro, it sticks so quickly that you don't have to do very much stabbing, and you can roll it very tightly too. This one is also brilliant for wire armature. Absolutely love it for that because it's got a long fiber, as you can see, and it sticks nice together. It has so much spring in it, and if you want to wrap a wire that hasn't got any cover on it, it actually works without using anything else underneath because the wool will stick to itself very quickly. However, I'll just start this off so I can show you that it does work. However, if you need a little bit of help, then of course we've got our beeswax balm hearts here, and you just rub a little bit onto the wire like this to make them a bit more sticky, and then the wool has got something to grip into. It is so easy, anybody can do this. And then remember, when you're wrapping wool around the wire, you need to keep it nice and flat, but that way you can tease the wool apart, and really this is one of the most amazing core wools. It's recommended by Dana Broad, which is one of our featured artists, and I know lots of other people who absolutely love to use it for wire armature, but also as a very fast felting core wool. It is inside this cat. Ow, she's asleep. Because it felts down really, really fast and makes a very quick, large bulk. So the next one I would like to talk about is the Lanolin is a similar one, and it's our South German Merino, which is actually a coarse stuffing. So this is perfect if you're knitting something or you've made something that you want to stuff. This is a great wool to stuff. It is not suitable for wet felting, nor is the Lanolin rich, whereas the Gotland and the Shetland are really great for wet felting. So these two, the last two that I've talked about, are not suitable for wet felting, but this one is great for needle felting. And again, similar to the Lanolin rich, it felts down quickly if you roll it into a shape and give it a few stabs. It has got some shorter fibers in there, so if you are particularly sensitive to short fibers coming out and it gives you maybe some problems with allergies, then this might affect you in that way. But just looking at it, if you look very closely at it, you can see it is a lovely lofty fiber. It's got crimped fibers in there, which creates that air in there, and is really soft and bouncy and great for needle felting into a core. You can also use it to wrap wire armature. So similar to the Lanolin Ridge, you can do exactly the same. And then last but not least, we've got our, in fact there's two more. We've got, let's start with the one that I had planned to do first. It's completely gone in this pile of all this lovely core wool. No, that's not that. There it is. This is an odd one out because it's actually a sliver. So it's not a top and it's not a bat, but it behaves more like a bat because it feels more like this, but it's in a strand. That's how it's been processed. And this is the wool that we originally used for our world famous mice. And this one is actually made from this wool. So it's great for wrapping because you can take strands off and they just separate really easily. And then you can wrap the wool around the pipe cleaner quite easily. Again, if you want to use wire, why not use our beeswax balm? You just scrape it along the wire as I showed you earlier. So this one works really well because it builds up a bulk and then it has the air in it so that you can stab the needle into it and sculpt the wire armature creature later. Sorry, little one, just a few stabs. And then last but not least is our basic core wool. Now this one is your cheap and cheerful option. Economical. It is bitty, we admit. There are bits in it, shorter fiber, longer fiber. Sometimes it looks like a cut edge. This is how we buy it. This is how it comes. And it is a great filler. So if you want to build up bulk really fast, you can do this by not even felting it, but just take some yarn. It's got to be a soft yarn, either wool or another synthetic fiber, and you can wrap the wool up really tight into a shape. And so you get the gist that you can create actually a core without even having to needle felt it very quickly, and then you cover wool over it and stab into it. However, believe it or not, but this little sheep has been entirely made from this core wool, and it felts up fairly firm. It's the softer and shorter fibers stop it from becoming very, very rock solid. But if you pull out the nice bits that you want to use, you can make something like this with no problem whatsoever. So remember, a core wool isn't a specialist wool. A core wool can be that color wool that's been made, that is inside in the same color, therefore it becomes a core wool. Shetland is a great one to shape and leave white on the outside, so we've used this as a core and an outer. Our basic core wool can be used all around if you're not too fussy how the surface looks and you want to make a quick example. Lanolin Ridge, perfect for wire wrapping. Absolutely love it, and it sticks to itself. You don't need to do much stabbing. The Shetland is also in here. It's actually, excuse the angel lifting her skirt, it's a filler to build up bulk because it's such a lovely white wool. It lends itself really well to do this for if you're making fairies and angels and you just need to add a little bit of bulk and loftiness into it. And other than that, I don't think I've missed anything. I hope anyway. Oh yes, the other thing I will say is don't use this for a core. This is our Cape Merino. If you've got a super short fibre, the needle will really struggle to felt this into a tight core because the fibres are so short, so they can't reach very far inside to tangle up. So if it's a very short wool like the Cape Merino or the Portuguese or the hair brown, it doesn't make a solid fibre, so stay away from those. But otherwise you can use any of our wool bats for core, and then I can only say happy stabbing. And if you've got any comments about our core wool, you can leave a review on our website. It's The Makers with 2 S's, www.themakers.co.uk. And remember, we have written 2 books. They tell you a lot about our wool in there as well. So hopefully we'll see you very soon, and let us know how you're getting on with your core wool. And remember, we do a sample pack so you can try them all, and we're always happy to hear from you, and let us know how you're getting on. See you soon.